better than ever. And I know right now that I'm going somewhere and I need some cheddar. Oh, baby,
Hey, what's up,
better
everyone?
not
It's
go.
Andre Luck here with my next episode of the Sports Sales Show, where I'm going to talk through different AI use cases by the roles that reps play within sports sales. So, there are reps that do prospecting. There's reps that are focused on closing deals, especially the bigger deals. You have customer service and retention reps. And depending on the size of your team or the setup and makeup of your organization, you may be doing one of those, two of those, or all three of those roles. So we're going to talk about the specific use cases for AI in each of those different roles. And one thing that I'm going through right now is really looking to refresh our content. We're coming up on year two of working with a lot of sports teams, doing in-person workshops, follow-through sessions, really embedding AI into the process. So it's evolved. And one thing we pride ourselves on with our workshops and our partnership with Scaled is making sure we're giving people fresh, up-to-date content. We don't want us to do the same training we did a year ago. Maybe there's some refreshers and like some elevated versions of it. But what's new? What are we seeing out in the marketplace? The great thing with us is we work with companies outside of sports. We work with companies in sports. We could bring those lessons together. So, what I'll be sharing over the next couple episodes are some of the things at a high level that we're looking to refresh. Gives me good practice to deliver the content, see what lands, see what sticks as people watch the different episodes, and I review some of the clips. But then also just continue to evolve in our development, my growth, and just learning these new tools. I got a question yesterday. I was like, how do you learn this stuff? It's like, I just am in it. Like, I force myself to use it. I'm talking to people about it and just make it part of my process. So that's what we'll cover today. So let's jump into it. And so teams, let's say teams, not just companies now, teams are buying licenses, they're building AI committees, they're getting different tools, but it's not changing necessarily yet how people work because buying the tool and buying the product isn't enough. Like there has to be that training, that coaching, that specificity on how to use it, but then the reinforcement so that it becomes part of your habits, part of your daily routine. Like we are changing the way we work. This isn't I'll go to this every now and again. Like at each step of your work process, you should have AI with you doing it. I've talked about that a lot. So whether it's having a prompt library and you're manually copy and pasting prompts, or you've elevated to building out assistants that at each step of the process, you don't have to now copy and paste. You can train an assistant on what the output should be. And so you just click and input a couple, key points of information. Now your assistant's working. Or you've gotten to the point where you got agents working, doing work for you and, writing data back into CRM and automations. That's what we're going to talk through is whatever level you're at, what are like the key use cases at those three steps in the sales process and for the different roles that ticket sales reps play. The thing that I've really honed in on recently is making sure the human still stays in the loop. I think about a year ago, as I was doing this, it was always, embedded in the back of my head, but I don't think I clearly articulated that, you know, AI should help with different parts like the manual task and like the administrative work, but you still have to use your brain and like turn your brain on to like connect the dots. And that's a concern managers face. There's, articles I've seen recently of like college professors catching their students cheating using AI and chat GPT and things like that. And so there's a lot of concern about, is this making people dumb? Or is this taking away their critical thinking skills? Really, the biggest role it should play is the stuff that took us a long time to do. And I think I've shared this before, but like researching a company, I can't remember how I used to do that. Like, I guess I just went to a website and I Google some stuff and I click around on some different things. Like, now you can get very in depth insights from like 20 different sources in 30 seconds. Like, that's the stuff it should do. But even with that, you have to decide, what do I do with that information? So, yes, I have this overview of how a company makes money and this persona does this, and based on what tickets I sell, here's how it could help. But you still have to draft that email. You still have to have that conversation with the CEO, with the VP of sales, and say, based on what's going on in the research I've done, here's how we help other people, or based on your priorities. Like, we still have to be like, the human has to be there to connect the dots. this should allow you to get deeper, richer insights, do work more quickly, work with more people, which then gives you more reps and at bats, which just makes you better as a seller anyways. Like that's where AI's place lives. So, going back to prospecting, researching like that, that's a drag. That's why a lot of reps don't do it because it takes time. You got to look up accounts in CRM. You got to find out what I'm talking about, click through LinkedIn and figure out who the right person is to talk to. So, a lot of times they just go to generic spray and pray. All right, manager, give me 100 leads from Zoom Info, random people, like no real rhyme or reason as to why we're reaching out to them other than that they're a VP of sales and I sell to VPs of sales, but like, is there actually something going on in their business? Is like if they ask you why'd you reach out to me, we can't say my boss gave me 100 leads and you just happen to be on the lead list. Like that's not a relevant reason for them to want to meet with you. That makes sense to them. Makes sense to us. Boss told me to hit my activity and hopefully I'll come across someone that's interested. If you could take away that just I got to hit a lot of volume and hope that I come across someone and like really be smart about it, like that's where AI could help you with that. You still have to be able to connect the dots. So um, account briefs, deep company research, summarizing what a persona does, because you may, especially younger, newer reps, like you may not know what an HVAC company does or what HVAC even stands for, or what a mechanical engineer does, or insert title here in this industry. You may not understand. So, AI can give you a quick summary. Hey, here's what that role is, and here's how this applies to you, and like a couple ways that you may be able to help. So you got that very quickly. Going back to not randomly calling someone just because they're on your lead list, but like, is there a trigger moment, an event that's happening in their business or in their industry, or a signal that keys and goes off? Like, did their head of human resources recently post something on LinkedIn about employee turnover, employee satisfaction, or looking to incentivize their employees because it's very difficult to compete in a crowded market where people are switching jobs left and right. That's something that AI could pull for you very quickly. Now you have a talking point of reason versus, well, I sell to HR leaders, company outings, and I want to sell to you. So finding these trigger moments, those signals when you're prospecting, like that's key. Those are rich insights that help you get more quality meetings, and more relevant people that are going to be on the meeting. Because like, oh, this actually applies to like something in my business, not this guy, this girl is just trying to sell me tickets because they have a quota to go hit. Messaging to do that, common objections that come up, all of that you could put in a prompt. You could put an assistant or agent could serve this to you just automatically because it sees you're working a new account and like, boop, you get a message, hey, here's your brief for your outreach. Those are all the things it should do, and then that's where we have to take that and connect the dots. How are other people like them? How do we work with them? How do we serve? How do we help them? So leads to more outreach because you're not spending so much time, clicking through websites and trying to find like the perfect thing to say. Like a lot of that's already prepped for you, and it's more relevant because if you have better insights, you should be able to have better conversations with the people you reach out to, which should lead to more quality meetings with the right people, bringing in people that could actually make decisions, not that are just gonna be tire kickers and be like, oh, this sounds great, send me some information. Like that should move deals faster along in the process. So there's the immediate impact of like it's going to save you time, and then there's the longer term impact of like if we're doing all this right and we have a strong clean system, like that should help us. uh, I was talking to a leader today, and we're talking about AI and what they're looking to do with AI, and he's like, all that's exciting, there's a lot that we're looking to do, but we got to get our processes right first. Because if we're just throwing in AI but we don't have our systems and processes right, like it's not going to help us. So if you're doing relevant outreach, you got the right systems and processes in place, that's really going to help you. So I'm going to move on now from prospecting. That's usually like an inside sales team for sure, but they're not doing a ton of B2B, but like an account executive membership sales, like a new business team. Everyone kind of has a different way that role plays, and everyone should be doing some prospecting, but that role typically falls on like that team. You go hunt new business. Once you hunt it, kill it, sell it, it goes to the service team. You go find more new people. So that's typically the people, the titles that are in that role. But now we'll talk to the group that's like closing deals. And a lot of times, like if you're prospecting, you're not like, this isn't tech sales. You're not, have a group that does prospecting, BDRs, SDRs, and they pass it along to the closing AE. It's funny. I had a rep when I was in Houston that was like, why do I got to do all this research? And this, like, AI probably would have helped him. And hopefully, like in his role he's in now, he's using it, because it just took so much time. And you got to go through all the work to try and find the right people and the right reason to meet with you. He's like, can we just have the inside sales team do our research and I just come in and close the deal? I'm like, you were a good salesperson, but like there are still a lot of things that you need to work on. So like in sports, it's not really a role where you like pass it off. So you're typically prospecting and then you're working that lead and selling it, and then maybe you pass it off. So a lot of times it's the same person. But think like your premium team, your suites team, your account executives, groups team, obviously too. Like who's the people that are working deals consistently in the sales process, particularly from a B2B standpoint. And so at this stage where AI could be a huge help is removing some of that administrative work. And the stuff that like slows you down from closing more deals. There's a company I work with, and I was talking to one of the reps. It's outside of sports, and one of the things she was saying is like, I could close more deals if I didn't have to do so much administrative work on like in our systems and processes and like filling out these forms and everything like that. And that's something we should probably look at for them on like how can we use AI or some sort of like automation to support that. She's like, because then I wouldn't have I have these deals slipping through the cracks, people I don't get back to in time. Like I have, tons of opportunities out there I could be working, but I'm doing admin work. And so think when you're in the sales process, you're setting up for a meeting. So before the meeting, what AI could do for you, typically reps, and I'll do this too, block some time, maybe the day before, a couple days before, 30 minutes to just do some prep. And so what used to be, again, researching, racking your brain to come up with questions, maybe thinking through old meetings, what worked, what went well, what AI could do real quick in 30 seconds, give you a summary of like who are the key stakeholders, what are their roles, what are things that are going on, what's relevant to them, account history. So for sports reps, like what's this count a purchase if you got some of that data on like ticketing information, but just in general, just like the history of the account from like more a business perspective, potential risks, like what are things that are things going on in their industry, is there something particular with that company that may be a risk or things you need to uncover in your meeting. Like it'll pull that out for you. You don't have to go searching for that or hope that that comes up in your meeting. Previous buying activity, like friction, like in the account, like all that can get surfaced to you before the meeting. But again, what do you do with that information? And that's one of the things I'm really going to be challenging these reps we work with moving forward is like, great, we did a lot of prompting, we showed you how to use AI, but what do you do with that now? And AI, the funny thing is like AI could kind of tell you like, right, with this, here's what you could do, but you still have to say it. You still have to articulate it. You still have to put in your own language and everything like that. So before the meeting, that's a huge win. That's time saver, gives you better prep, you have more quality meetings, you have more confidence, and just like you're more calm going to that meeting because like you feel prepped and equipped to have this conversation because you have the insights that you need to do that.
That's nothing. I'ma be doing this and I'm gonna be head hunting. Oh baby, don't know. Oh baby, don't go. Oh baby, don't know. Oh baby, don't go.